Steeler Nation, what's good? No intro for real. You already know what this is. Steelersfor7LIVE. Ha, 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 ha. You feel me? Where I and you that's following, you that's watching, is saying right now, getting ready to catch up on everything minicamp. Now, since the inception of Steelersfor7 podcast into where it's at today, let's talk about me, right? Just quick, and I'm gonna get out the way. When I first started doing this podcast, my level of being detailed with the off season is all the way up here, And as I was getting older and older, the level of interest was just going down, but my passion for this was still high, right? So now we up to here where we got Steelersfor7LIVE. It's basically me catching up on all this off-season stuff. Shout out to everybody, what I'm saying, that's tuning in. Shout out to everybody that will tune in later or whatever. Catch the clip, buddy. But anyway, man, we got a whole lot of videos to go through tonight with, regarding minicamp. Minicamp is over now, so we're going to go all the way back to the 11th when the first set of interviews was going, and we're going to finish with the interviews that came out today. So without more being said for me's, it's time for yous, the buckles that seats. Make sure you got your popcorn too. You know what I mean? They not sponsoring me, but I got some chips right here. I can probably tell what they are when I pull one out, You know what I'm saying? We're gonna start this thing. All right. I'm gonna make the screen bigger. Make me smaller. And we're gonna get to it. We're starting off with Russell Wilson. Shout out to Russell Wilson, man.
Everybody in the facility, just kind of tell me what it feels like for you to be out there on the field.
Yeah, it feels great. Everybody's so excited. We're working hard. Offense, defense, special teams. I think the best part too, the energy is super high. The way we work, it's so competitive. Every rep feels like a playoff rep. Every rep feels like how it should. Coach Tomlin does a great job of that, and us players, we're working, and the leadership on this team is phenomenal.
Russell, how would you describe your relationship with Arthur and how it's grown, especially over the last month?
Yeah, it's been great. I think the best thing about Arthur is, obviously he's called a lot of plays, been in some huge moments, big playoff games and moments and everything else, and just his ability to communicate. I think we spent.
It sounded like Russ was about to say big shit popping and little shit stopping. Shout out to T.I., man.
Spent a lot of time together, me and Arthur Smith, and then also Coach Tom Arth as well, and just the whole quarterback room and everything else. And so I think the best thing about our relationship too is his knowledge of the game and how we just communicate. I think that part's always key. And so all the stuff that we have and the plethora of stuff that we're working on is really, really great. How along we are already.
What's unique about this offense?
I think the versatility. I think the versatility of our players. It starts with the offensive line. Those guys up front, how physical they are. I think that being tone-setting offense in that manner is really key. And so we're just growing. We're getting better every day, and that's the key.
Mike Tomlin said he was stalled. He said he's looking forward to this year because guys, you and Arthur, Justin, were stalled. What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I think that throughout my career, there's been so many highs. You've been you go through the journey of all the highs, and there's tough moments along the way in the midst of those highs too. I think also too, you go through some tough moments as well, and all those moments, those moments that build you up, those scars, those things that you go through that don't necessarily go your way, it builds you up for the next moment. It prepares you for the next moment. That's what you look forward to. And so the best part about this game is, the passion, the love for the game, the love for every moment, taking every lesson and using it for good. And just knowing that God is an amazing God. I'm so grateful I'm here around these guys and just this organization, the culture here. And just God works in mysterious ways, man. I'm just grateful for in the midst of it all. There's been, and like I said, this is my 13th year. I've been fortunate be on a lot more higher moments than lower moments. That's for sure. And there's going to be a lot more I'm looking forward to in terms of the high moments as well. So you have confidence because of the people around you. You have confidence because of the work ethic you put in individually, but then also just you have faith, in what God's going to do.
I know you're new to Mike Tomlin this year, but he signed an extension yesterday. Based on what you've learned about him in these first few months as a Steeler, what makes you believe, what makes you see why he's holding that extension?
He's one of the greatest motivators I've ever been around. I think his ability to communicate, his ability to inspire individuals.
One of the greatest motivators I've ever been around. For a quarterback to say that in his, 13 years, not only has he had Pete Carroll, he had multiple coaches before that. He might be saying the right things, but I don't think he's just saying things to say it. I think he's saying it because it's right. He's not the only one that say that. Stay tuned.
Every day, no matter if you're a rookie, no matter if you're an undrafted free agent, no matter if you're a 13-year vet like myself, the lessons and the things he's taught me along the way, just about life, about ball, his understanding of the game. He's not just on defense. He's not just on offense. He's on all sides of it. His ability to communicate that as well. He stops in a particular moments on the field and displays not only his passion, but his ability to communicate certain moments and why they're so significant and important throughout a season, throughout a game. And I think that's why he's Hall of Fame coach. I think that's just the honor to be able to play for him and play for this organization is a blessing in itself.
Russ, he talked about you guys doing some.
I'm not going to be doing this throughout because there's a lot of videos we got to watch, but I like how Russell basically told the media and told Steeler Nation. Hold on, man. Let me get right, man. Well, I like the fact that Russell was basically telling the media, telling Steeler Nation that, and people outside of Steeler Nation, this is what Mike Tomlin's doing on a daily basis, man. For those that doubt his work, the ones that doubt whatever he can do, this is what he does on a regular basis. I won a Super Bowl. And even with me winning a Super Bowl, I haven't been around a man like this. Coach, Shout out to Russ, man.
2 minutes today.
Yeah.
What does that mean in June?
2 minutes, everything. That's where you win the games. You got to love the game when it's tight, when it's on the line. It's the fourth quarter. You got to love those fourth quarter moments. Look forward to them. You got to believe that you're going to win them every time because of the confidence that you do in June, because of the confidence that you instill in August, and those moments that you're visualizing success, and you're always thinking about winning. You're always thinking about winning each play, each down, each moment, and just knowing that if there's time on the clock, we got a chance. And that's just what I've always believed internally. You can't fear the fourth quarter. You gotta feel you gotta love those moments and not fear it.
Russell, what do you think your relationship with George can be like this year?
Yeah, it's exciting just to watch his growth, day to day. I think that his work ethic, when he his ability to catch the ball and his explosive plays that he makes just on a slant route. I know the slant route he ran last year and took it to the house a couple of times. Just some of the things he's done. It's not easy to do. There's only so many people in the world that can do what he can do, and I'm really excited. We've just spent a lot of time just communicating and everything else. So you just take one day at a time and just continue to build on it. I've been fortunate to play around some really special receivers, and he's that guy. He's definitely one of those for sure, and I'm excited to just see his growth, day in and day out.
Russell, what's your experience as a leader and all that you've been through in your decorated career? Going through this process, is it like another day in the office, or are there new perspectives that you have? What you share with the younger players?
Yeah, I think that you use all the experiences and the moments for growing lessons. I always say experience is only necessary for those who are unqualified. So when I came in as a rookie, I felt like I was qualified. I felt like I was ready. I felt like I was prepared. I played a lot of college football. I played a lot of big moments in college and everything else. But you use that. But then there's nothing like playing in the National Football League. It's the greatest league in sports. And just the challenge to play this position every day. And so all those experiences, all those moments, you use them. And I think that you want to be able to pass them to other teammates. You want to be able to communicate that. You want to be able to step into the huddle with the other 10 guys and let them know, hey, this is the moment. This is the play. This is the most important, significant thing. And so all those experiences, all those lessons learned, all those games won, all those moments that are tight at the end of the game, and you got to check to it, you got to get to a certain play, whatever it may be, or you got protected, all those different things. I think you use it, and so I think that you just take one day at a time and just try to give as much as you can in terms of what you know, and I think you continue to learn too. I think it's just you're constantly learning this game, and so that's what I'm grateful for.
Best defense you got? I mean, talent-wise, it's in every position you got somebody who's a baller.
Yeah, it's the off season. It's super early. A lot of things from now until training camp to see what we're about, and it's an exciting time. It really is.
You talk about that lingering, the bad taste in your mouth with the players. Is that a message that resonates just every day to the team, or is it just
I don't know if it resonates every day. I mean, like I just said, we have so many new guys that don't know that that's the history of the last 8 or so, whatever years it is since I've been here. So it's just a matter of taking each and every day and being a true professional, not taking a day for granted, like we were just talking about. And when it comes down to executing and working, putting everything aside and just getting down to work.
The playoff game last year,
Yeah, it sucked. Tried everything I could. Obviously, couldn't get back. Anytime I'm not able to play, it's not a good feeling.
Did you know in Baltimore that it was going to be hard for you to come back, or was it later in the week?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as it happened, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than what it was. So I was just lucky. Lucky to be able to get out of there with what I had.
Take care of the body more, 20s. How do you approach that moving into training?
Yeah, just being smarter. I'm not going crazy in the weight room anymore. I'm not trying to. Set personal records in the weight room as far as max reps or max weight. It's just about maintaining, trying to stay healthy. That's first and foremost the most important thing right now is staying healthy, trying to get as much sleep. But I've always been on that stuff and nutrition. I've talked with Tus, our new strength coach here, Kim. I'm talking with our nutritionist and my training coach Brad Arnett back home. Just continually trying to learn. Work, ankle, knee, hip mobility, all those things are going to be able to help me continue to bend and do my job as I get older.
TJ, you guys have had a bunch of major injuries in defense the last couple of years yourself, Cam. Do you feel like that's like if you guys could just put the big guys on that defense on the field a whole season, you could take another step forward even without anything, not even before you talk about guys like
but it's so hard to speak in hypotheticals in the NFL because, like you just said, every single year you're going to be dealing with some sort of adversity. I'd love to say, if we had everybody in the lineup, we would be doing X, Y, and Z, but it's just too hard to say.
What did you do this offseason to maybe prepare yourself and ready yourself for the season? Anything different or typical routine?
Mostly, the typical routine, train and just focus. But, after actually playing last season, I could actually go and, focus on more specific things. As opposed to my first season when I didn't get to play, it was kind of just like getting, generally stronger and just better in all areas. But I feel like after my first season, I could be more specific, focus on some routes and stuff like that.
You guys had some change to the wide receiver room with Deontay. Do you see an opportunity for yourself for maybe an elevated role or maybe taking that next step?
Oh yeah, I mean most definitely. It's out there, but that's not really my focus necessarily. My focus is on my everyday get better, and I know if I do that, everything else will work.
I just realized I was on mute. But here we go. I was saying, man, that when it comes to Calvin Austin, I really, really like how he's approaching this season. I like his answers. I said this on the Steelers chat with D. Shout out to D Love Sports. And I said this on Steelersfor7 podcast, man. I like where he's at mentally. I like the way he's answering these questions. This one in particular, I like the fact that he said it's not just, the things that the media will like to say what you focus on. He said he's focusing on the everyday thing. So like how to get better every day, routine. It's like Mike Tomlin says, make routine plays routinely. You feel me? So it's like, all right, every day, man, I'm rooting for Calvin Austin to take a big jump this year, man. He said it's out there. It is out there. It is out there. DJ is gone. The question of the world is, hey, man, what we going to do about WR2? You feel me? Calvin Austin is like, hey, man, I'm going to eat. Y'all going to watch. Just wait and see. But if it don't work out, then damn, come on, man. You had me fooled, brother. But, I'm rooting for the kid.
Just work yourself out. So that's not truly my focus. It's just on, like I said, every day getting better and improving my own game.
A similar question: do you see within this offense that there are more opportunities for a player with your skill set to be able to do so?
I think it's a
not a bad question at all.
A lot more in just in terms of it's a new offense. So with the new offense comes different routes, different plays. Different. You just can see things a little bit differently. So I think it's just a lot more out there.
We've heard a lot about Arthur Smith putting a lot of emphasis on the O-line, the running backs to try to get the run game going. What kind of emphasis do you put on you as receivers as far as how he wants to use you this year?
He's very involved with us. He runs our routes on air period, so he knows what he wants to see from us, running off the ball. And he always, is around talking to us. And, this, I say when we're just in shorts and stuff, it's a lot of running and stuff with receivers. So he's always, pushing us and encouraging us. So that's just continue to help us because we know we got his full confidence.
Is there an overarching message or identity he wants you guys to grasp as a group?
We just want to be tough and different, to win a Super Bowl and to get to where we want to go, you got to be different. So that's really been the main goal.
Calvin, how do you feel like you guys will make up for the loss of Deontay, what he did for you guys on the field?
YouTube, y'all gotta get better y'all gotta get better. Y'all gotta get better. His name ain't Kevin. That's my name. His name is Calvin. And I don't even know who Francois is. I know DJ ain't here no more. Get y'all stuff together, Google, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Don't shadow ban me for that. But I'm saying some people can't hear. You feel me? Make sure this is right.
It's the guys here, whoever that is, whether it's a person, collective, whoever. I think everybody just have to put their hand in the paddle and contribute.
When you have a new quarterback, I know you were pretty tight with Kenny. What's the process of gaining their trust on and off the field and being that go-to guys they can count on?
Just reps, being consistent, just showing up to work every day, ready to work. It's not going to be built by any type of secrets or anything like that. It's just by reps on the field, talking on and off the field. And once you do that, it'll all come together.
Can you speak to the difference between Russ and Justin? Is there different styles or one that does something that either not better but different than one?
They're definitely different quarterbacks. Obviously they're at different stages in their career as well. But one thing about it, they both had that leadership quality, athleticism, and they all push us to get better. But it's just a general difference. How the ball comes out, athleticism and stuff. But that's what you're gonna see across the whole board.
You're pretty close to Russ here in terms of proximity in the locker room. Does that give you an advantage in terms of making buttering up, saying, hey, I'm your guy?
I'll probably take that and put it in my back pocket. Yeah, I'll probably think about that.
We made USAA for homeowners.
Yeah, man. Calvin Austin talking that shit, man. He talking that shit, man. He talking that shit. I like you. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing no ads. We're not messing with no ads. We're not doing none of that. That's not something that we condone around here, man. Y'all do the ads on your own time, unless like this page get to wherever you watching that, where this get big enough where it's like, all right, we want to advertise on your stuff. Then I'm gonna be like, my bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. You feel me? But well, let's continue with the video.
A lot of first-year, second-year guys. Onus that's going to be on the young players in this offensive line. A lot of first-year, second-year guys. How are you guys meshing and picking things up with the new offense and the need likely for you guys to be on your P's and it's going to be on the young.
I didn't put it in my back pocket. Yeah, I probably think about that.
Onus that's going to be on the young players in this offensive line. A lot of first-year, second-year guys. How are you guys meshing and picking things up with the new offense and the need likely for you guys to be on your P's and Q's real early in this process?
Yeah, we're all just working together, and we're all going through it together. So just learning everything as quickly as possible, and just working as hard as we can to fix our mistakes.
How is Coach Meyer as a teacher in that regard, getting the message across to you guys?
Yeah, he's been great teaching us. All three of our offensive line coaches have helped us and have done a great job teaching us and really putting it into a way that we can absorb it and learn it quickly.
When you guys brought in, I think all of you understood the likelihood that there's going to be a really accelerated learning curve for the young players in the O-line this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just what you get from going to college to the next level. So I think we all expected that and ready for that.
Zach, is there going to be an expectation for you at the center to be able to pull and hit in space, or is that something that you're comfortable with doing?
I'm comfortable with doing that. I did a lot in college, but we don't have any plays in with that right now.
Zach, what has it been like working with Nate? How's it been as far as sharing information? What are some of the things you picked up?
Yeah, he's been great. He's helped me out a lot. He's really kind of taken me under his wing and kind of helped me out. Just someone that's played center and can give me tips and pointers.
With you guys having a lot of 4-year, 5-year guys in college in this draft class, is there kind of an expectation once you commit to pick up everything quickly?
I feel like, I don't know what the expectation is, but I feel like we have a good group of guys. I feel like we're picking up pretty quick.
Do you feel a sense of relief now that the ink's dry and that process of signing is out of the way? You can just focus on football fully.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I wasn't really too worried about it. My agent texted me that morning and said it was done, so I was like, okay. It wasn't a big deal for me. So I'm happy it's done.
From an O-line perspective, from a center's perspective specifically, any nuances or intricacies of Arthur's offense that you find most interesting, certain types of plays that you like about what was put together here? Anything that, I guess is a through line through how he wants things to be done. That you find interesting?
I just like how it's an emphasis on running the ball. I like that as an offensive lineman.
Zach, you got to know him, obviously being a center in coach for quarterbacks a lot, working with Russell Wilson, a guy that's won a Super Bowl in this league and has done it a long time. But you've got to know him and work with him more. What has that experience been like for you, as you get set for your first year in this league?
It's been great. He's helped out a lot. Just try to make. As a center, it's my job to make sure I get the snaps back there and have a clean, quarterback center exchange. So I'm just working on that and working through that. And he's been helpful.
You're having veteran guards with James and Isaac.
Just with the start of Minicamp starting now, everybody's here. It feels like a full house. Just kind of what's going through your head as this journey begins.
Oh, it's exciting. Anytime we get to go out there and do a little bit more football-like drills, some of the rules are more relaxed for minicamp. We get to do some more things on the field, and we're really excited about it. And it's a lot of good energy.
Is it real getting to know you process right now? There's so many new faces in here. It's a lot different from the locker room view.
Oh, 100%. There definitely is. That we're trying to become more familiar with each other. A lot of the coaches are practicing things that they want to, certain coaching styles that they want to do going into into the fall, and so they get to practice that. I think it's really good for new coaches during this time to be able to see, okay, what works, what doesn't work with this personnel, and it's a familiarization process for all of us, player to player and coach to player as well.
Speaking of coaches, Coach Tomlin got a contract extension yesterday.
That's right.
What does it mean to have a guy is going to be here for a while, who's going to be in place the way Mike Tomlin's been? It's been 17 years, and now he's got at least 4 more.
Yep, that's right. That consistency can't be taken for granted. It provides us a sense of comfort knowing that is in place. That consistency is key, I think, for just for everybody to know what to expect going into the fall and how to prepare.
Miles, what makes Mike the right choice here? What makes him a coach for you?
Well, I mean, he knows how to win. He's a great leader. Anyone who's heard him speak, will say that. He's a great motivator. He is a perfecter of his craft. Every time I'm in a team meeting, it's like a master class in leadership and preparation. So he leads the team well, and I'm honored to be on a Mike Tomlin coach team.
You hear a lot.
Y'all heard what he said, right? Y'all heard what he said, right? He said, he uses words like masterclass. You feel me? Why is it that the players and the players on the outside and fans outside of Pittsburgh, they don't got a problem with Coach Tomlin getting the extension? I'm telling you, when I go to Pittsburgh for one of these games, I'm not about to be friendly. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna be too friendly. But go ahead, Miles, finish this up. I'm saying like he listening to me for real. But well, let's finish this out.
From players that come into the organization for their first year and they'll say, I wanted to play for Mike Tomlin. That was a goal of mine. I'm sure that might have been a thought process when you were coming to the Steelers, and now that you've been here for a couple of years, what's it been like as you kind of seen that thought of, I want to play for this guy, play out the last couple of years?
Well, sure. I mean, like I was just saying, I mean, a lot of people will classify him as a player's coach. I don't think that that's necessarily an insult. I think that just means that he can connect with us on a level that maybe is not easy for every coach to do. And that doesn't take away from his preparation and his professionalism. I think he does it on par with the greats who have done it before him. And so it's exciting. It encourages us to bring a level of professionalism so that we can compete in this culture.
Yep. We're getting sick of asking or answering questions about it, but the new kickoff rules and stuff, and I don't know what's different from last week, 2 weeks ago, but now with Danny, is there a brainstorming? How does that kind of?
Have you met Danny Smith? There's always brainstorming. We're brains. He'll send us texts in the middle of the night sometimes with some of the things that he's cooking up. But no, it's going to be great. We're excited to get out there and practice it. I think we're doing that tomorrow on the schedule, but it's going to be great. We're going to tackle it together.
All right, thanks, Miles.
Appreciate you.
Shout out to Miles, man.
When we say it'll be on time, they expect it to be on time.
Turn shipping.
Yeah, like I said, we not doing no ads. We're not doing none of that, man. None of that. Because they not paying the gang, you heard? They not paying the gang. You feel me? I'm only doing this because you know how YouTube be, man. They want you to watch 2 or 3 of these Jones and then you can skip. But here we go. We done. We about to get back to it. Arthur Smith, I heard you got something to say. Now let's hear what he got to say.
What's that?
What is it you like about the personnel you have here?
Well, we got a lot of guys that can play in multiple spots, whether it's our tight ends, we have some receivers that give position flexibility. Really like the depth that we got up front right now. And obviously the quarterback position, but really the whole room is new, players and coaches. And gives you a lot of options. These guys, we have experience, Russ and Justin, and even Kyle, guys that played meaningful snaps in this league. So it's been fun.
Does it make it easier or harder when your quarterback room is new like this? Because they're all learning at the same.
It's probably easier, if you take, you get a job like this, and there's a guy that's maybe been here 10 years. They may have a certain way they've done things, and so you're new. We're all new, and so that's been fun. Going back and looking at the film of stuff, all 3 of those guys have done at previous stops, stuff I've done at different styles of different quarterbacks. So to answer your question, short answer, yes, it's a little bit easier when everybody's new.
Arthur, you do mention that you got a lot of people, but there are some familiar faces to you that have come in, guys like Van and Michael. I mean, what's it like to have guys who've been with you at other stops come here? Does that kind of help maybe some of the guys that are new to you learn maybe things that you like to do?
Yeah, there's some things that they've been with me. They know, the coaching style. There's a lot of things that we put in new that are new to those guys too. You don't want to be rigid or get stale. But, a little personality, fill in the blanks, that really helps. And then the other exciting part, we got a lot of young offensive guys that were drafted here. And in a previous stop, I was heavily involved in the roster acquisition. So there's a lot of work that was done. So you're pretty familiar with guys that were coming out in the draft, from 21 to 23 as well.
Justin Fields, Fine Reynolds. Are you working hard on those?
Well, all the guys, we're working, whether it's Dan Moore or Isaac, there's always little things you're working on. And that's what it is, constantly improving. So with all the quarterbacks, we're working on everything we can.
Like a reconstruction project.
I don't know if they call it reconstruction. I mean, that's just, different opinions. But certainly, we're excited to have the opportunity to work with him. And Justin's, he got a great mindset for a guy that's, had a lot of individual success. He certainly had some flash plays that we've all seen, had some dynamic playmaking. But whether it's Ross, him, Kyle, John Rice, all these guys, we're constantly working to enhance the fundamentals.
There's so much talk about this opportunity stood out to you.
A lot of things. And, obviously when things don't go the way you want, and, thankful, I had people call right away and had interest. I got far away. I promised my wife we got out of the country. And, so I knew I wanted to work. I wasn't going to stay out. And then when Mike called me, I was literally halfway around the world. And I said, hell yeah, I'm interested. One is I have such an appreciation of the history of this game, and guys that have been big mentors to me have either coached here or played here, and I could go on and on. And Mike Vrabel was a player here, worked for Braves, and he had a big influence. Mike Malarkey, Ken Wisenhunt, Russ Grimm, Dick LeBeau. I got guys that I coached with in Tennessee, from Deshae Townsend to Nick Eason, Lou Spanos. I worked with in Tennessee, and there's so many guys, players or coaches, and swear by this place. And so when Mike called me, he talked about just funny how timing in life works. I wanted him to know, hell yeah, well, I was interested and wanted this job. And so, and to work for Mike and what this place means, and if you, like I said, you like the history of this game and the ways that the Rooneys have done business here. I got to know Omar a little bit over the years through the league meetings and whatnot, and certainly Mike. And that was very appealing. It's rare when you have a guy that's been in one spot, had the success he's had, that's older, has done it for a longer time, somebody you can learn from and has really a shared belief. So really it was a home run for me. It's funny how life works that way, things.
It's funny how life works that way. Huh, Arthur Smith? Huh, Steelers fans in Pittsburgh? Everyone swears by this guy. Everyone with more credentials than you. And I'm not hating on Mike Tomlin. That's why I ain't put myself into it. But I'm talking about y'all the people that don't like Mike Tomlin. You feel me? Give me the solo. But the people that don't like Mike Tomlin, don't get it messed up, man. The camera, I ain't sure. Look, the people that's hating on Mike Tomlin, when y'all listen to these guys talk, y'all listen to the parts when they talk about Mike Tomlin and them wanting to be here because of him, or them wanting to step their game up because of him. Like, come on, man. Really the first one. People want to come here because of Mike Tomlin and what he's built in his 17 years. Granted, before he got here, it was already a standard here, but he was able to sustain it and add his juice to it. Get y'all, let me chill. Let Arthur finish up, man. Finish your rap.
Things don't go your way, and then door opens, and I couldn't have asked for a better situation.
Where were you? Where you were?
Yeah, I was in Dubai. Literally, I was going from Dubai to the Maldives, and I was sitting in a hotel room. And so it was, how many hours later? It was dinner time. I guess it was morning here. And then as soon as I landed at JFK, he told me, let me know when you're stateside. I called him. I said, I'll get on a plane to Pittsburgh right now and come interview. I flew here the next day.
So you cut your vacation short?
No, I did not. My wife would have. You kind of go in a submarine. You're working at such a pace with their coordinator, and certainly those years in Atlanta before we made another big life decision. And again, I was lucky to have options and interest. I did not, so I didn't want to get divorced.
How do you feel like you and Mike kind of complement each other's coaching styles? And you said you wanted to stay in it, but how tough is it to go from being the head guy in charge to now being a coordinator again?
It's not. I mean, if you don't have an ego or you're insecure, I mean, you need to take recalibrate and look at things you can learn. And you get a coach like Mike to learn from, and certainly in this place and the way they've done it. Obviously, we've gone against them with their different spots, and like I said, there's so much shared history and appreciation I have. I mean, even going back, I got to work 5 weeks with Tom Moore. He was always in my ear when I saw him in Tampa, and it's the only time I've seen Tom not look old was to go back to those pictures on the wall. And Tom talked about studying Chuck Knoll. I mean, people swear by this place. Mike Malarkey played for Chuck, worked here for Bill Cowher. So, I mean, it was, like I said, I couldn't have asked for a better situation. And just studying Mike and the Steelers and what they're about. And I feel like it's a good, perfect fit.
Tom looked old in the 80s.
What's that?
Tom looked old in the 80s.
He looks young, and I'll tell Tom that. I guess we don't see him. I saw him twice a year when we played Tampa. But, God, over the years, he's been great. Just a little wisdom. Like I said, it's the only time he's looked the same since he was calling plays for Peyton. But he's been awesome behind the scenes, been a good mentor to me as well.
Speaking with your offensive lineman, it's clear that physicality is a point of emphasis for you. Why is that such a point of emphasis, and what does that look like here early on for you?
Well, the game doesn't change. I mean, you look at both sides and the lines of scrimmage. I mean, you may have the greatest designer play against this coverage and schemed up perfectly, and if you can't block the guys up front, it's going to be hard living. And you look at the history they've had here. I mean, there's a great history on both sides of the line of scrimmage, especially when they've won Super Bowls, both sides. It's just something I believed in, I was raised in. And, I was an offensive lineman myself. So, and going back to your question about fit, maybe that helps too with being an lineman. You do any job. If you're asked to lead. If you're asked to be a lieutenant, be a lieutenant, so it's all part of the learning process.
Yeah, there's some young offensive linemen who, like in Troy, Broderick, and Zach. How have you seen them embrace what you've been trying to coach them to do?
Well, it certainly helps. You want to be a tough physical team, and thankfully, we drafted some tough physical guys who had a lot of meaningful snaps in college at a high level. So we kind of knew what they were about. And again, sometimes you get lucky in the draft. You don't always get everybody you want. But it was cool the way it felt to us, and to be able to add all three of those guys.
This is your most talented roster.
What's that?
This is your most talented roster in terms of the type.
It's like picking like your favorite child. I've got 3 kids. I've been really fortunate. I've gotten to coach a lot of great players, and I have such a great appreciation for those guys. The whole league's talented, but we're certainly excited about the personnel we got.
There's so much talk, Arthur, about needing a second receiver, number 2 receiver beside George. What do you like about the options on this roster, and do you have a legitimate number 2 on this roster?
Again, that's all subjective, and things happen coming during the season. Again, I'm thankful right now. I get to go back and just coach the players. Thankful, grateful for my previous stop, but now I just dive in and and you may have conversations, but that ultimately not my responsibility. And things happen, guys get injured first play of the game, and you have to have contingency plans, and that's our job. I mean, the ball's going to kick off every Sunday or now Wednesday at 1 o'clock on Christmas or whenever they tell us to play. But you better have depth, and you're always working contingency and looking for improvement. And so you deal with whatever circumstances thrown your way. I don't get too caught up in labeling guys, especially this time of the year. The guys are all, we're in football and shorts trying to compete for a job. A lot of things will be worked out in the trobe, and things can always change too.
Arthur, do you view this as two athletic offensive tackles like you have? Is there anything?
Sure. There's certain schematically. Yeah, I mean, there's certain schemes you may want to run. I mean, that when you have more athletic tackles, and that can certainly be in certain run schemes, getting them out of space. It could be in the screen game. Whether you want to get in the pulling them or whatever you're trying to do, certainly gives you a lot of flexibility when you have athletic tackles or really athletic linemen.
Arthur, as you started to learn about your roster, the running back position, what stands out to you about just the top 2 backs, what they might do differently, similarly, and how do they fit into what you want to do?
Well, ultimately, it's a fine line. I mean, you have your beliefs, but you're not so rigid. You're trying to play to their strengths and enhance things year after year to try to get them to improve on. But both Najee and Jalen have had a lot of success in this league, and so as they fit in there, I mean, you break it down, give or take 17-game season, you hope to have 1,100 plus plays, and if you're a balanced offense, give or take where your carries are out, nobody, even Derrick Henry, we didn't ask him to carry the ball 550 times. So there's plenty of carries to go around, whether that's traditionally or non-traditionally. But been really excited to get to work with both those guys. It's been fun this spring, getting to know both of them well off the field. And we have depth. I mean, talk about the receivers. I mean, you never know what happens. We've got good competition with some vets. Certainly, Cordarrelle Patterson being here, he's played in multiple spots in previous stops where I've been at. We'll see how it all shakes out, but we've got good depth in that room.
Arthur, I think it's important for you to come right back into coaching and not take some time.
I don't know. Probably, I don't think anybody you're well adjusted to do this job. So maybe that's my wife. I don't know. I'm not old enough to want to sit out. I want to compete. And like I said, just thankful opportunities here. Sorry.
Arthur, do you view this as a quarterback competition, or are you kind of ramping Russ up?
No, again, like I said, Mike's stated on the record. Russ is in the pole position. It's a competition. Obviously, we get to Latrobe. I mean, certainly I'm sure things will heat up. But both those guys knew that however they were acquired, and they got here. And I think it's been pretty transparent. I know Mike said that on the record as well.
What is it about Tom Arth that makes him a good quarterback coach to work with both of those guys? And I know he's been, kind of working with Justin's footwork, things like that. Why is he good at what he does?
Well, and when I got here, some of the staff was shuffled around, and guys, it's been great to get to know the guys that were here. Some of them are in different roles. But Tom's a guy I've gotten to know from afar. Cleveland being down the road, I've worked with two St. Ignatius guys. Tom's, I guess, the third, and Dave Ragone, who I was with in Tennessee and Atlanta. John Gannon and I shared an office in Tennessee. So I got to know them over the years. And then his body of work. Tom's another guy. He's been a head coach. Been in different roles. He's been in kind of a senior assistant out in the Chargers. Guy that played quarterback in this league, was a backup to Peyton Manning. Spent some time with Mike McCarthy, and that thing got going early on. And when he interviewed, all the things, the way he teaches and things he believes in, the details, the fundamentals. He's a fantastic communicator, and ultimately we're teachers, and that's a big part of our job. And Tom checked a lot of those boxes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Figured out yet?
Yes, very much so. For real. We ready. We are ready.
So when you saw the rule change, what was your first reaction?
I love it. I am dead serious. I'm excited about it. I think it's great for football. It's a challenge, and I love it.
What's the process of trying to figure out how you'll attack it, considering it is kind of a new thing? It's been done in the XFL, but not in the NFL.
That makes it a challenge for all the special team coaches in this league, me included, obviously. And it makes you work harder. And I've never been one to run away from work. I run to it. And so it's been a challenge from that standpoint. We'll see how it is on display. I'm glad we have 3 preseason games, to find out about it. But it's exciting. We've come a long way, with our football team, and I'm honest to God, I am really excited for it.
On the other side of that, having a guy like Cordarrelle, how exciting is that to be on the returning end of the new?
Well, I mean, all these returners, it's going to be interesting for them. It's new to them as well. Just the catch of the kick is new. Hang time is out of the game. You can hang that thing 6 seconds, ain't nobody going nowhere, really. So it's a waste of time. So now you're getting line drives, you're getting balls on the ground, you're getting different catches. So it's different for them as well, and obviously people are up on them. So those are all part of the challenges. It is a big challenge in a lot of ways, broken down individually.
So are you guys at the point, is there sort of a special teams coaches fraternity that has talked this through amongst yourselves? And if that's the case, do you kind of walk that line between, hey, I think I might have a loophole here, or do you kind of talk through with some of your other guys?
Well, there was a committee, of 8 members, of which I'm a member of, that put this thing together with the league's direction. Obviously, we got to understand as special teams coaches, we don't have a vote, but we help put this thing together. And to answer your question, and there are a lot of challenges in it, and we'll all, meet those challenges. But we are a group that's been very progressive over time. I mean, it really has. And so I like that challenge. Like I said, just from a work standpoint, it's new. and we all put new stuff out there, and we all have new stuff. Types of kicks, like I mentioned, the returns, the coverage, to your point. It's all new. And some of it we're going to try and say, this isn't it, this is, this ain't, this is, and we'll all do it together.
I was hearing that even officials, game officials, were reaching out to coaches, like and saying, like, "Are we interpreting this the same way that you are? Is that dialogue taking place? And if so, is that good to have that interaction?"
Your statement is a fact, and I'm going to leave it at that
Okay.
because I'm not an official.
No, but is it good that
I'm going to leave it at that. It is a fact that has happened.
Okay.
What about, the rules change, but what else has to change? Are body types going to change on the return? Or
That's the talk. That's interesting. The body type in the coverage, the body type in the return, the quickness of the play, the type of returner. Again, we're all searching for answers, and we're on a path, okay, in Pittsburgh. I can tell you that. I have studied numerous plays that I have been able to find from other leagues that are similar. There's nothing exactly like we're doing it. But there are some similarities in some things. I've met with a lot of people that have done it. I've watched a lot of tape that have done it. I'm sure others have too. But those are the challenges. And some of it is going to, be a challenge in practice that we go back in and we say, after we look at the tape, hey, that was good. Hey, that looks good. Hey, this doesn't. Hey, that is, that ain't. And we're going to all be in that dropping head.
So is it just the XFL that you watched since that was the player?
No, I watched Europe as well.
What are some of the other? What did you say?
Europe.
They have something similar.
Yes.
Why do you think it's good for the game, Danny? You mentioned that right off.
It puts a kickoff back into play. It really does. Fair catches. Now you could fair catch, but it's at the spot. A fair catch bailed us out last year. It did. It bailed us out. I never had a bad call last year. And I'm not saying that to me, but think about this. If they're kicking the ball to my left, I got a right return. Last year, I'm a fair catch that thing, put it at the 25. Great call, Danny. I ain't running that thing across the field, get tackled at the 14. You know what I'm saying? So that was the bailout. There is no bailout. That's why I think it's great for the game. You better be right. You better be on it. You better have a plan. You better have players that can execute that plan. And that's where we're at. I'm overly excited about it. I really am.
It is almost energetic, or as in the past, you were not to say you're getting obsolete, but what could you do in the last year's rules? Like you can make an impact more, you and your unit.
Yes, no doubt. And again, it put, like you say, why? Because of the return in the game. Scoring has been down in the NFL in the last 2 years. Okay, so this play is supposed to get better field position. Better field position is more scoring. We'll see how it all turns out.
Dan, you got a new punter as well. What are you expecting out of him?
I love him. He's a real pro. He's strong. He's good. He's got game, and I call game different types of punts. We can do a lot of things with him in that game. He's a pro. I love him. I really do. He's going to really help us. I think you're going to see a big improvement in that area with him.
Do you have any concerns about the hold kick part of snap hold?
I don't. We have been able to develop holders here. We really have. There's a process that we go through. I'm dead set on it. It's worked for us. We've had a couple suspects come in here as punters that weren't good holders in college and were labeled like that have become good holders. So that process doesn't affect me. It really doesn't. I know, to have that holder. This kid has done it, so he's ahead of the game. And I'm not saying he's one of those types, but we've brought holders that weren't very good and made them good and been comfortable with it. So that's not an issue with me. And this kid is not an issue at all in that area.
Do you have the ear at all of Omar or Mike or whoever when you guys are in the market for a punter and they come to you and say, or is it all scout?
We all in it together, they really do. Obviously, Mr. Rooney, Omar, Mike make those decisions. They'll ask your opinion and to all of us in those areas, and you express your opinion. I got a line, and I tell Omar and I tell Mike that all the time. Okay, position coaches make suggestions, head coaches make decisions. There's a huge difference between those two things, and so I make suggestions, they make decisions, and we roll with it.
Danny, what did you make of the storyline that Justin Fields could return kicks? And what was
just that. It's a storyline. We got everybody involved. We're going to put the best product out there. You ask me who our returner is today, I have no clue. We work a lot of guys. It's a whole different process. Everybody is liable, to be honest with you, in any way, shape, or form. If they can help us win a game, we're going to put him out there, whoever that may be.
Two more guys, two more.
What kind of input has Boz given with this new kickoff rule in place?
None.
That's fair.
So Boz is all in. Boz is all in. Boz and I got a great relationship. Boz is all in. He'll be good at it. Trust me, he'll be very good at it.
With Mike Tomlin resigning for 3 years, can you just comment on like your guys' relationship on the field and just kind of
Me and Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, as he's obviously going to be here a little longer. Just how has it been to have him at the top of the
It's pretty nice. I'm telling you, I've been in 5 organizations, okay, and I'm very proud of all 5. I would not talk bad about any of them. I'm from here. This is special. He is special. I've been with great coaches. I've been with Hall of Fame coaches. I have learned a lot from a lot of people. I don't have all the answers, but I got a hell of a lot of experience, and he is special. And I love my relationship with him. I love working with him and for him, and I'd do anything in the world for him.
Competition's been great. These guys, that's kind of what I mean by all these guys are at different spots in their career. Competition's been great. I know that a lot gets made of the 1, the 2, the 3. Listen, these day and age, we move everyone around, and guys get balls depending on matchups. So that number thing's a little overrated to me. Yes, we're trying to find the best 3 or 4 we can put out there for sure.
What's the description of this? If you could put it in a few words, like if you could put a theme on the guys that you have right now.
Growing. Yeah, we're a work in progress. We're growing. Today was not a great day for us. All of a sudden, the routine changes, schedule changes, more plays, all the things we've been working on 8 weeks that kind of went out the window at times. So, growing, work in progress.
You mentioned you're the kind of coach that's honest, transparent with guys. How's Roman taken to your style of coaching and some of the things you're giving him?
He probably loves to go home at night and get away from this building. I'm all over him, man. I have to be. We've got a limited amount of time to get a guy ready to play an NFL football game. And, I always say we're taking players, making them into professionals. They're players when they come from college. They're not all instant professionals. There's a lot that goes into playing at the NFL level. And if you're not ready to go, week 1, you get exposed. There's a growing pain process there. So I got to be all over him from the second he walks in this building to the second he leaves at night. I have a limited amount of time to do it, and that's my job. So I'm going to squeeze every bit I can out of that sponge.
How have you seen George respond to your style of coaching versus what he was used to with the Steelers before?
Yeah, I don't know what he was used to. I don't really care. I just know how I do it. He's been great so far. Out here today, he was awesome. He's I can tell guys are listening when I say a little thing and they pick it up, and I can see him trying to do it. It might not be good yet, but I can see him trying. That's all I ask. George has been great as of today, so we'll stack the days and we'll see.
You feel like he's incorporating things that you're working on even at this stage of the year?
Little by little. Little by little. We got a long way to go with everything, but little by little. There's little things that I can see.
Yo, why y'all doing this about George Pickens acting like he can't be coached, yo? Like, what's going on with that?
Man, there's so much in there, untapped potential. I think if we can just get him a little bit better, it'll be monumental.
We talked about 1, 2, 3, but you know what George is in regards to that. I mean, can he be that true number 1 receiver?
He can be. It's right there for him. He's just gotta pick it up, take the cheese, and do the things we ask him to do, and he can do anything he wants. He's that talented. I think you guys all know that Ray Charles can see that, right? You don't need to be a coach. So we know.
Rest in peace, Ray Charles, man. I actually remember hearing this line, and this was actually a thing. It was like they don't think George Pickens is the number 1 receiver. It's like, yo, it's early, yo. The only person on this team with nothing to really prove is TJ, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe Alex, you know what I'm saying? A few other guys of that caliber, but everybody else, they need to prove something, So handing like just saying, yeah, George is our number one. We didn't pay him yet to be saying, yeah, that's our number one. You know, the Steelers didn't pay him yet to be like, it's not like when Antonio Brown, can't remember when he got the contract. Maybe it was 2012, 2013, or maybe 2014. I think it was a little earlier. But they had to make a decision. Emmanuel Sanders or Antonio Brown. They picked Antonio Brown. You feel me? That's what they paid him. He became number one. George Pickens is in year 2, 3. Like, you know what I mean? I can't think of it top of my head, but like, come on, like, y'all asking him questions, not George Pickens, but y'all asking the coach questions like George can't be coached. And then you blow that whole, you know, he can be. Yeah, he can be. Right now, by default, he may be. But we not going to say that. Well, they not going to say that. We can say that. They're not going to say that. They're not going to put that on camera. They want George Pickens to be. We know how. They know how good they need George Pickens to be. I'll say great. I don't want to say great, good. They know how great they need him to be this year. So the methods that they're using, like, yo, we got all the way up until if feels like, yeah, George Pickens our number one, but we know for a fact he can get better in certain areas. Why say that he's going to be number one now? Why don't you just wait up until, you know, almost game time? And I'm not talking about the season. I'm talking about preseason. You know, once we get there, like, you know, real training camp and stuff like that, that's when you can start saying, yeah, George number one. But right now, yeah, let him continue to work. Let him continue to work, man.
That's out there for him if he wants it. Now he's just got to keep stacking the days, and that's my job too.
What have you liked about Calvin Austin, and how have you challenged him to improve his game?
He's been outstanding. I mean, that's a guy that is gone from here to here in the last 8 weeks. I mean, it's been really fun to watch. He's a worker. He's intentful. He's urgent. He wants to be coached, and you can see it because his game has done that. And I'm really, really excited for his season if he keeps practicing the way he's been practicing.
What kind of role do you take in that competition? Do you try to instigate it? Are you setting them up for ways to compete against each other? You just kind of let it happen naturally.
Yeah, I think they know exactly what it is. I don't think I need to stoke it, all that much. But it's fun. It's fun. You see the back and forth. You see, Justin go out there and make a big time play, and then you feel Russ. He's looking for that opportunity, to come back, and it's pretty cool to be a part of. And I think as you look at it, you have two players at such different points in their career, but both out to prove something. And I think when you have that, two talented guys that have had so much success in their football lives, that are out to prove something, I think you got something really special.
Yeah, man. I like that. I like hearing that, man. I definitely like hearing that. Russ and Justin, just battle, man. This battle. Justin will have to be extremely better than Russell up in like around training camp or whatever. Whereas like maybe we should go with the kid now, But I think just from what I'm hearing from Russ, it's not the gaudy, geeky Russ. I'm hearing a guy that's like he's buying into with the culture. It's like the culture touched him. The Pittsburgh Steelers culture touched him, and it's not about being a politician. It's like, yo, we about to really show y'all something. Like, yo, I like what we developing here. So I like the battle. The fellas battle it out. Whoever wins, I'm a root for. Y'all on the team, man. I'm gonna root for y'all until I should. But next up, we got Coach T. The first time Coach T speaks in one of these videos. Not videos. So we go ahead and play that here.
Really excited about the work we were able to do here today. I thought the competition was at a high level. Love the energy and enthusiasm, but really I just think that's reflective of where it's been all spring. I think the significant step we're taking here is we just introduce some more situational ball this week. The closer we get to training camp, the closer our work needs to be more football-like. We acknowledge these drills that we're doing in football, but not necessarily real football, obviously, because how the dress that we're in and so forth. But you start infusing some situations in, some 2-minute and things of that nature. It really just elevates the teaching and learning and understanding that's there to be gained. And so that's the mindset that we're approaching this week. That's what we're trying to get done in totality. We just want to push it to more football-like work. And that usually starts with down and distance related things, line the game related things, or time related things. And so we'll continue kind of in that vein. We had all in attendance today except for Naj. He had a prior appointment that was approved by me. We expect him back tomorrow. Everything else has been.
Steelersfor7 podcast, episode 147. Shout out to D. I had D on the show. It was a mention. I was like, hey, man, Najee didn't make it. We won. We both think it was no big deal. Wasn't going to monitor until we heard it again later. This right here just actually put it to bed. Because I didn't know anything about it. I just read that, right? Coach Tomlin said, but Coach Tomlin did say that he talked to who they say Coach Tomlin talked to. And then the player ended up saying, nah, he ain't talked to me. Like George Pickens, yeah. I was hyping him up, man. Good. Man. But yeah, so Coach Tomlin put that to bed. Najee ain't come because he had a prior appointment, man. So it wasn't nothing, but it's really nothing now.
Been really good. I'll pause and open it up for questions.
Mike, you now have 4 years left on your contract. I mean, what does it mean to just have this extension done and to have that kind of behind you?
To be quite honest with you, it just means I don't have to field questions about it. I've seen more days than I'm going to see on this job, man. I'm focused on 2024 and have been, and that's my mindset.
Mike, it is unique, though, this sort of longevity. Why is this?
Again, I don't focus on what's in my rear view. If there's a secret, the secret is I'm focused on the challenges and tasks at hand and not my resume. I could care less about my resume.
Mike, you talked to us in January about your belief. Still have all the confidence you've ever had. You believe that you can get done here what you want to get done. I think you said back then 51 years of life was why you had it. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
No, I meant what I said. I've gotten better with experience. It's not always reflected in the outcome of games, but that can be said about a lot of components of what it is that we do. You better get better with experience. I expect these guys to get better with experience. I expect our second-year players to take a significant step, for example. And so I'm leaning in on guys like Joey Porter Jr. and Benton and others. And so it's the same in coaching. I'm excited about Aaron Curry in his second year within the program. I've been in this program a lot of years, so it better be reflected in the quality of my work.
You had an opportunity to talk about the Smith today. There's a lot of new pieces on that offense. What's going to be the key to bringing them all together and making them cohesive?
Taking advantage of the days. We all, have the same amount of time in terms of preparedness. The Atlanta Falcons are new in totality. And with how the league structures this prep, it's fair for all parties involved. And so we're not worried about the challenges or our lack of collective experience. We're just trying to make sure that we have good days and understand that we'll get a relative opportunity in those regards.
Mike, what sort of thing governs how long you want to do this? Like, is there any measure that you look at, still having fun? What?
No.
Mike, what kind of conversations did you have with Cam Sutton that made you feel comfortable about bringing him back in after the offseason?
It's not any conversations that we had recently. It's the totality of our relationship. I met this guy in Knoxville, man, 6-7 years ago, whatever it was, when he came out of school. He's a great guy. He loves football. It's probably the totality of our relationship. And I think I probably represent the sentiment of the organization in saying that it's less about specific conversations, particularly of late, and it's about the relationship established over a longer period of time.
Mike, when you look at the legal situation that led to the end of his time in Detroit, did that give you pause about bringing him back in or something you have to consider?
Certainly. Certainly. That's just due diligence. That's what's supposed to happen.
And did you feel comfortable after doing that due diligence?
Obviously, he's here.
Mike, what kind of early impacts have you seen from Arthur and what he's?
Man, I just like the energy and detail that he brings, the competitive spirit that he brings. It creates a really good environment. He's doing a really good job of selling his system of football to the players, increasing the level of understanding. He loves to coach. I'd imagine it's refreshing for him to get focused on a certain component of the job again. It's just a lot to be excited about.
Like, what stands out to you about the group of linebackers that you guys have?
We're still at the infancy of this thing, particularly as it pertains to, distinguishing linebacker play. Their game is played in pads. And so, I'd be reaching if I was talking about things happening out here in the shorts, particularly at that position.
Anyone else?
Mike, what was behind the change in training camp practice times?
Our day was pressed on the other side of practice, and I just want to give them an opportunity to do a better job of accommodating the fans while taking care of their bodies. A lot of times they're working to rehydrate, but dinner was running up on them, and so they didn't have the appetite to eat. And so we just feel like with the early practice schedule, it just creates an opportunity for better wellness and keeping guys upright and rolling.
With the better wellness, seems like there have been new kind of additions with the warm-ups and things like that, the new strength and conditioning stuff. What do you like about the changes that they've implemented?
I judge changes on outcomes, and so I'm excited about some of the things that we're doing, but I'm not ready to paint with a broad brush at this point.
I like that, man. He shut down a lot. He shut down a lot of things that was out there, man. He definitely did. So we're gonna go into. We went from that. Now we're going into day 2. Coach T, what you got for me? I gotta get my timing right, y'all, because I be talking faster than I move. Here we go.
Situations, a lot of possession. Another really good day of work. Again, we're focused a lot on situations, a lot of possession down ball today, 3rd and 4th down. Double back and hit some more 2-minute. The drill was cleaner today, but that's a reasonable expectation. We kind of introduced some of that yesterday, and it was an opportunity for us to show growth over the last 24 hours. We'll do it again tomorrow. But just really excited about this work in general. Again, it's a point of emphasis for us to kind of put an exclamation point on our off season, and that's really in some specific yet subtle areas. What are we doing pre-snap in terms of pace offensively? What is our snap readiness defensively versus some of that? You got to be careful sometimes in a practice setting, in the cooperative work, you'll wait on one another, and that's not how the game is played within stadiums. And so tempo and pace has kind of been a focus this week among some other things, and I'm just pleased with the overall attention that the guys are giving the agendas. I'll pause and open it up for questions.
Is Cole Holcomb on track to do some work at training camp?
Oh, I'm sure he is, man. I don't have a lot of details about the specifics of it, but at every checkpoint, I think the experts are comfortable with his progress, and I know he's working extremely hard.
Mike, in terms of what he can do at this point, what has Fields shown you, leadership, whatever on the field?
I don't know that I'm looking right now. It's about the giving and receiving of information and teaching guys how we go about business and the things that we value. And so I'm making a conscious effort not to, get into the evaluation component too much. But obviously he's done a really good job doing the things that come with his position, the leadership things formally and informally. I've been pleased in general with his progress, but it's just that I'm not in that mindset.
Mike, I know Najee was out here today, but he wasn't a full participant. Is he banged up? Do you expect him to be able to go by training camp?
Not anything that's going to be an issue whatsoever regarding health. You guys know my approach, man. Cam Hayward didn't take any snaps today either, is another example of it. I know a lot about some of those guys. I know less about some of these others. And so I like to focus my energies on those that are working and not those that I'm moving out of the way at times to see others.
What have you seen from Tom Arth and his work with the quarterbacks? What kind of has he brought to that role?
Man, I just like the energy and detail that he brings, man. I've known Tom for quite a while, man. Obviously, him having a regional connect, being at Akron and so forth. He does a really good job with the guys. He's doing a nice job of managing the group and presenting some new things to them. But we're just starting to scratch the surface on some of that stuff. Again, we're just at the very beginning stages of the ball.
Mike, similar question with Zach. What has he brought to the receivers?
Same thing, man. Energy, detail, a variety of drill work that can be somewhat unfamiliar yet challenging. I like all of that. It's about developing skills relative to their positions, and he comes up with unique ways to do that.
Mike Minka's talked about wanting to get back to playing Minka ball this season in terms of being able to make more plays on the ball. What does Minka ball mean to you? Is that something that he should be able to do?
I'm not worried about Minka ball, to be quite honest with you. It's just about availability. We get him in the helmet consistently. Those plays that we've known him to make and have come to appreciate will be there.
Mike, Arthur talked about when you called him the interest in wanting to work for you. What was your interest in wanting to work with Arthur?
I've competed against him over the years, Atlanta, Tennessee. We had a lot of mutual connects from his time in Washington. I know what he puts into the job, professionally speaking, and he has quality tape. I've competed against him in stadium, and so not a lot of unknowns regarding his capabilities, to be quite honest with you.
Does a guy like that change his personality?
I'm sorry?
Does a guy like that change his personality from head coach role to offensive coordinator role? Do you almost have to change how you work with guys?
I think that, different roles require different hats, and I don't think that's a big deal. That's just a component of it. Assistants make suggestions. Head coaches make decisions.
You talk a lot about guys making year 2 jumps. What areas is it reasonable to expect more from Keeanu Benton, and how can he help the whole team?
All areas, to be quite honest with you. We don't isolate that expectation in any certain area. They've been a lap around the track. They know what comes ahead, schedule, the demands of the job, the rigors of the job, et cetera. It's reasonable to expect them to be more acclimated this time around and show, quality progress in all areas.
Like Eddie Faulkner said yesterday that it was your idea to put Shazier with him in the running backs group. Just why did you kind of make that pairing, and what do you like out of it?
I'm not going to make a big deal out of the participation of Shay and Vince, man. They're young guys that aspire to coach, and we're just providing an opportunity for them to do that. Nothing to report there.
Mike, you've had a couple, 3 practices with Sutton. Has he picked up where he left off in terms of
very, very beginning stages? But he has been a quick study, but we knew that about him. He was a quick study when he was here. I'm not surprised that he's able to get on the move and train and execute defense. No, not at all.
Have you been able to glean anything watching any of this kickoff, the rules and the way you practice and personnel or anything?
I know I'm glad Patterson's here. That's about all I can see at this point.
Anyone else? All right.
Appreciate it, guys.
Like that, man. Shut all that stuff down. No, we're not dealing with none of that, man. We're gonna keep the ball rolling though. Now we in the locker room, talking to a couple of players. You feel me? Starting off with the young boy, Justin Fields. Let me get this back up here. Cause we do no odds, nah. No odds.
Offenses coming together, and how are you guys all adjusting to it?
We've been in the offense for a minute now, so it's really just the only difference between OTAs and Minicamp is just more reps and in a different period. So pretty much same thing. We added 2 minutes yesterday, so it's good for us that we're getting in different situations and just bringing that awareness up and stuff like that. So it's good.
We heard a lot about the accountability that Arthur Smith has instilled in the offense. What's it been like for you just seeing just the early stages of how he challenges people and how they respond to it?
At the end of the day, I think we're all grown men in here, so you should automatically take accountability for everything you do on the field, whether it's something good, whether it's something bad, and I think everybody's responded well to that. So I think that does nothing but makes everybody better, allows your teammates to put more trust in to whoever it is that's taking accountability at the time.
Justin, what have you seen the guy with Calvin last week?
Yeah, he's quick. He can create a lot of space in small spaces. So he's quick, savvy with his route running. He's just a hard worker. There's some plays where he knows he's not getting the ball, and he's still winning the route. So just to have that player, a player like that, give that much effort on the field every play, it's really, really good to see, and I think it's really gonna rub up on the other guys too.
What's it like working with some of the tight ends that you guys have in the room there? I know Arthur Smith yesterday just talked about the versatility that a lot of the guys have, especially in that group.
Yeah, I mean, we have a different, a lot of different guys in the tight end room. Darnell, he brings size to the room. Rodney, speed. Connor, he has a great awareness in the field. Pat, of course, he's a great all-around tight end. And Crew, he's a vet. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. So I mean, just all the guys in the room, they're smart, and, attentive, and I feel like they've adjusted to the offense well. So
What's it been like working with Tom Arth, and what's he kind of working with you on?
yeah, I mean, Tom's been great. Just his attention to detail, the way he comes in each and every day. He comes in as the same guy every day, and to be honest, I don't think I've had a coach that detailed as Tom. He's very detailed in terms of practice review, sending us the info, breaking down each and every play, and really just focus on the details. To be honest with you, I think that's the thing that sets him apart. And he pushed us to be hard. I mean, our indie periods are conditioning, so of course that's good for us. But I mean, he's been great so far. So excited to allow our relationship to grow, and excited to work with him.
How does what he's doing kind of complement what you're doing individually, when you're away from the facility working with, coaches one-on-one, anything like that?
So
What does he do here that kind of complements what you do away from the facility when you're training on the ground?
I mean, I think he does different stuff. So I think that's a good thing about it. Some stuff that we do here, I don't, usually do outside of the facility. So it's good getting that different work and different drill work that I can, implement into my off-season program and stuff like that. So it's good that I'm learning new stuff for sure.
You had really good deep ball efficiency numbers in your time in Chicago, especially last year. What does Arthur Smith and the offense talk about you about trying to make that, incorporate that into being a big part of this offense?
I mean, yeah. I think we have fast guys that can get down the field with speed. Guys like Quez, Calvin, Scotty, Van. Me and Russ, we've had a lot of deep ball success and a lot of explosive plays in the past. So, that's just what I guess how our offense is built, to be honest with you. But I mean, our job is to create explosives and push the ball down the field. So anytime we get those options, we definitely want to capitalize on those.
Are your coaches stressing any part of your mechanics in any way?
I mean, yeah, I think there's always room to improve mechanic-wise and stuff like that. So. I think, Matt Baker, he's a quarterback assistant. He usually stays on me the most about it. So I appreciate the fact that he does that. And I usually make sure I just stay on top of it, as a whole, and, make sure my mechanics are always clean.
Can you talk about one particular element that they're stressing?
It's different areas, to be honest. I don't think it's just one specific area, but it's different areas.
Justin, in your opinion, was there something that you wanted to work on, maybe get better at when you got here at this point in your career?
I mean, like I said, there's, no matter who you are, there's always stuff to get better at, always different areas. Nobody's perfect in one area. So I think you can continue to improve in all areas of my game, me personally. So I'm just focused on getting better each and every day. So, yeah.
When we talked to Russ yesterday, Russ said that he personally felt kind of revived, being at another stop in his career. Is there any of that sense of maybe rejuvenation or feeling revived? Obviously, you haven't been in the league for 13 years, but is there a new energy that you get being in a different organization, going through minicamp in a different way for the first time?
I think so. Just being around a new team, an organization that's, just with this culture. Me being in two different places now, I realize that, you don't get this culture everywhere. I think Chicago, they are, kind of changing the narrative now. But I mean, this has just been the culture here for so many years to where, I mean, you can see it. It's just the way that, we attack each and every day. And Coach C, he stays honest about it. So I think just having that and, reiterating that, each and every day, that keeps guys on their toes and guys ready to compete each and every day.
What have you learned from these quarterbacks?
they real decisive and who they throw to and where they want to throw. The ball got a nice spin to it, so real decisive quarterbacks, all of them.
And do you go into this optimistic? Do you think that this is going to be a lot different this year?
I hope so. I just hope for the best. You know, everybody want to win the Super Bowl. Everybody want to go to the playoffs. So I just hope for that.
Anybody else?
Does the offense have one look with Justin versus Russell? Like, can it have one look? Is there too early to see it?
Oh yeah, I think it's a little too early because we ain't got everything in right now. But I understand what you're saying. I feel like they both got the same game style because they all know the plays.
When we talked with Arthur Smith, I think it was earlier this week, he mentioned, you know, there's so much versatility on offense. A lot of guys can do a lot of different things. How much of that is going to be a weapon for you guys this season?
A lot. With certain teams, with certain DBs, just the guys that we got with the variety we got with speed and stuff like that. So it's going to be very nice to have a lot of speed on the field, a lot of different plays, me in the slot, you know what I mean? So just a different offense.
Have you been working more slot?
Yeah, more than I not more than I ever have. I did at Georgia a little bit, but more than I have in the league, of course.
George, you feel like this offense is kind of going to open things up for you a little bit more? You feel like they're going to see less double coverage?
I wouldn't just say for me. I'll say for everybody, for the team. I feel like the offense is going to open up. It's going to be a more productive, for sure.
I got you like working in the slot. I mean, what's it like for you to be able to add that versatility and go back to some of the things you were doing in Georgia?
It's great. Like I said, I'm a total receiver, so I like working in the slot just as much as I like working on outside receiver.
What does that free you up to do?
Put me on linebackers, put me on safeties. Not where you can just put me on one side of the field, then the other guy come over and help him. So, put me in the mix and put me on linebackers.
Besides at the end of last year,
You're a physical receiver. How much do you like going up against linebackers and having that challenge?
With linebackers, you know, it's just being smarter than them. They kind of like, they got a few keys. They kind of crash dummies. So just being smarter than them, you know, catching the ball, get down when you're supposed to, catching the ball, scoring when you're supposed to. So, yeah.
Two more.
how do you make big plays out of slot?
Speed. You know, splitting defenders. That's the biggest thing in the spot. If you got super good speed, you can split defenders. It's kind of going to be easy to score.
George, you doing it the first 2 years here?
No. I play outside receiver the first 2 years here. But as far as in the league, this is the most I worked in the slot.
For instance, to that point, like your blitz numbers were really good in Baltimore last year. And on efficiency, it's like this playing with Peyton, who can cover the middle of the third, allow you to do that. Similarly, when you're out there, you can take away the middle third and allow Landon to blitz. Like that complementary aspect to the play.
We got a lot of good balls all around. Like I think, like I said, with positions, everybody can do everything. We all play cover. So when the season comes, you'll see everybody doing everything. So offense can't never have to tell one guy that's always the best.
You're going to be the green dog. What's allowed you to pick everything up?
Just communication, meetings, notes, just talking everything through.
Dan Ryan Shazier in the background, man. It's touching, man. You know he wanted to be out there. He might have. At this point, he probably would have just been wrapping his career up, maybe. But I know he still wanted to be out there, man. But I guess it's a good feeling, you know. It's a good feeling. So he back in the locker room, you feel me, with the guys or whatever. You know, helping out. But Coach Tomlin said something a little in his press conference. You know, they're inspiring the coach. So, you know, but it's good. It's good to see them out there.
Everything that's football days being here, being in the system, all that stuff plays a key role. It's just being able to go so thankful to be able to run a green guy.
Is there a lot of extra trash?
I might have just cut it back a few seconds, but I'm still gonna get it on.
Did you do a lot of that?
Definitely. Trash talk?
Oh, green dot.
Not so practice wise, always in practice. I think I did like maybe 2 or 3 games with the green dot. Not starting off with it. So it's not really a big deal, honestly. It's just coach giving a play call, I get the play call out. We all play ball. We all communicate. Everybody communicates every play. You got the name guys like this big old he's the ruler of the defense and this and that. He comes in, he can call to everybody. Everybody starts to play football. Everybody starts to play their side. You can't be out there telling everybody their side. So, I really am thankful for the green dot. I think it's just a lot of fortunate.
After about 4 weeks of these off-field sessions, you feel incorporated, assimilated. Just feel like the team now.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, we got all the guys here. We're doing what we're doing. Just everything's just getting closer with the guys, and just getting better on the field. Getting trash talks with Mike Tomlin and Arth over there, and just stay going back and forth with those guys. And, it's fun. Mike T always said, "We're doing something today. We're gonna get y'all today." And we don't have it, so I'm like loving this stuff, loving the environment that all these players bring to the
Because of the inside linebackers that are assembled, do you see yourself playing a little bit more nickel than Pittsburgh did last year?
That I really don't know. It'll be game based on who they're playing and what they put out there and stuff. I think with the DBs we got, we still go a lot of people. Like that's the good thing about us right now. We got a lot of people. We got a lot of spots. So it'll be really easy to do all this stuff.
And what kind of combo do you think you can make?
Great. I think, like I said, there's no limit to our game with positions. So whenever we line up, we just gonna play off each other, feed off each other.
Is there anything you tried to teach Peyton or the other rookies about just adjusting to NFL life over these last couple of weeks?
I'm just gotta live in the moment. It's gonna be tough regardless. You might, even though you can come in balling and stuff, still be tough. It's still gonna be days. Still ain't that.
Somebody in the background says something about having an OnlyFans. I gotta relax in the locker room, you know.
They really want and stuff. So I'm just honestly just letting them soak in all the moment and stuff. And being there for them if you need it.
Are they good trash talkers?
Hey, not yet. It's kind of hard to tell. Like I think he wants to, but he's not comfortable enough yet. But Landon is definitely a good trash talker. I think I'm still the best. Minka's more. He's gonna say something that's like quiet side. B-Jack is extremely loud. Alex is quiet. It's just, I think it's a couple guys that really like talk trash.
Based on what they've asked you to do so far, how are you assimilating? How are you picking up everything that they've asked you to do, given what we talked about? Because there's a lot in the playbook.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot in the playbook, different packages and stuff. But just, like I said earlier, want to be a 3-down backer, just continuing to, try to learn everything and just whatever situations presented to me, just try to be the best in the world at it.
Not just you, but the other rookies. There seemed to be an agenda to get guys who had experience that could take on a lot quickly to help this team get from on the border of making the playoffs, losing the first round. Like rookies who can contribute to make a difference in the context. Has that been talked about amongst the rookie group?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has. But I mean, my mentality and all of our rookie mentality is just, whatever role that we're asked to do, whether that's, be a starter, whether that's be a 4-core special teams guy, whatever we can to, help win a Super Bowl. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why, they brought us on, and whatever role that we're presented with, we're just going to hit it head on.
What are you picking up from Terrell Austin as a coordinator and Aaron Kearney's position?
I mean, just how much faith and trust they have in their players. In college, DCs and linebackers coaches, they kind of got to work around deficiencies and stuff. But up here, there aren't any deficiencies. So just, how much trust they have in their players, how they're able to call certain calls in this. And you look up and you're like, he really just called that, but the trust and the, the skill set that's on that field allows them to do that.
What's the difference between working around deficiencies as a coach and expanding on the traits of guys that have lots of traits?
I think just being able to show your true colors as a DC, just, letting guys play free, showing that your system is able to make plays. And, in college it's tough because sometimes, if a guy goes down, you can't just go pick somebody up. You got to work with what you got. So, having to call certain things to hide certain things in college is a lot different than what I've seen here.
In terms of just the rookie class, how do you guys feel like you're gelling, coming together, and how would you describe the relationship you guys have so far?
Yeah, so for people that don't really know, when you come in as a rookie, it's a lot like being a freshman again, but with a little more workload on you. We have meetings all the time, just rookies, mandated events that we have to go to. So us 12, we're around each other as much as, I'm around at home when I'm in my family and stuff. So just, we're all gelling and we understand that we're competing, but at the end of the day, it's healthy competition and we're just super excited to be here and grateful.
So there hasn't been any hazing in the freshman?
This is an amazing locker room altogether. You have some of the best in the world at what they do. And, they're just here to give us knowledge. Like you don't really see any of that. All the guys are just super helpful, and I think the big thing in this locker room is to win a Super Bowl. I think that's the main picture, and that's what we're all working for. So at the end of the day, like we're not beating around the bush. That's what we're here to do, and that's what we're going to do.
So you've gone past the off factor of being here, being with these guys who you watched on TV when you were that old.
Yeah, that was kind of like the first day of OTAs. Going back 3 weeks ago now, just seeing how all these guys. I mean, ball is ball, but like seeing how Mika prepares and how he does prehab and rehab, how they're prepping their body, how they're watching film. I mean, it was just truly like I was like a kid in a candy shop, man. I'm in football heaven here in Pittsburgh, so just continuing to pick up every single piece of knowledge I possibly can.
Whose brain are you picking right now? Who are you talking to? Is it somebody in your room? Is it somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, definitely E-Rob and PQ. PQ is obviously one of the best in the game, and E-Rob is just as good, I mean, as any linebacker in the NFL. Just, two completely different play styles as well. So just, being able to take from E-Rob's game and take from PQ's game, and, just credit to them for them both being great older guys and trying to help me out. So
what's the biggest difference from college to pro when it comes to off-season practice?
I think just the detail that goes into it. Every single play, every single rep can't really waste them, because at the end of the day, like, someone on the other side will beat you. In college, you can slack off a little bit, and maybe you're just so skilled that you can cover up for it. But out here, if you're not using the correct fundamentals, not knowing what you're doing, that OC or that player you're going against is going to pick you out. So.
If real estate had a Black Friday sale, 2020.
What? Yo, man. Like, come on. Come on, man. What we doing? What we doing with these ads, man? Let's get back to it, man. They just don't say. They don't say an ad's coming in 3, 2, 1. It ain't like Tubi in them. It's crazy.
Pretty good, still learning and just trying to take advantage of my opportunity, but a couple guys get banged up or anything, I kind of been thrown in the rotation, and the coaches is kind of testing me to see, how well did I retain the playbook and adjustments and things like that.
How well do you think you're doing? You think you're caught up? Do you feel good about where you are?
Yeah, I think I'm doing pretty well. Every day still learning opportunities. I'm learning day by day, and make one mistake, but the game is, try not to make the same mistake twice. So that's what I'm trying to do.
You feel like there's an opportunity here for you?
Yes, sir, for sure. Whether that's special teams or defense, last year they didn't really have a slot, and I knew that was a need, when I signed after the draft. So, the opportunity is most definitely there.
You seem to be making a name for yourself. Do you feel it out there? Do you think you're opening some eyes that other coaches have talked about?
Yeah, for sure. I feel once I learn the playbook, I just go out there and play fast and play hard and just put it on tape. That's the name of the game. You don't really have to explain yourself to people. All you have to do is put it on tape.
Was this an easy decision to pick here when you were kind of figuring out where you were going to go?
Yes, sir, most definitely. Especially, given the background of the organization and the history of, the undrafted guys that they have here. And it's been much success between those guys. And, Mike Hill went on, and, that's kind of the prototype for the slot here. And I go and watch some of his tape and things like that. Guys, tell me to watch his tape and just go look at how they want the nickel to play here.
Are you similar to a Hilton type guy? Are you going to go after the quarterback? I mean, you're good at covering guys. Like, tell me a little bit about yourself for the fans that might not know who you are yet.
Oh yeah, I'm a physical guy. I feel that this was like the perfect opportunity for me. Just hard nosed. Don't really say much. Just get to it, work hard. Be physical and punch guys in the mouth. So I think people could see that through the tape.
If you remember Dick LeBeau back in the day, when he came, Rod Woodson and Connor Lake both said he's changed the perspective of the defensive play calling from the eyes of the secondary, and we love that. Mm-hmm. Does that still hold true today, or is that true with every team?
I think it is. I mean, obviously, I'm going to call a game from a secondary perspective. A linebacker guy would call it from that perspective, and if you had a D-line coordinator, they would do it from that perspective. So I think that's kind of probably the way we see the game and how we see it unfolding was maybe a little bit different than other guys.
What can you say about this secondary this year?
So far, I like where we are. I think I like the communication aspect of them, working together. We've got some things we've got to iron out in terms of just how we're going to match up and do some different things like that. But I think overall, I like where we're trending.
The trade that you guys made for Dante Jackson, it's important for you guys, not just in terms of what you're trying to get from Dante, but also what you gave up in Deontay. How do you think he's fitting in, and how does he help the secondary big picture from what you've been able to clean so far?
First of all, he fits in well. I think he's a real pro, goes about his business, asks good questions, does the things that a good pro will do. And I think the way he'll fit in, because he does give us a different type of cover guy than Joey. Joey's going to be a line of scrimmage, tall, get his hands on people, and he's going to have the ability to play off, can really run still. So I think it gives us a little bit of a nice matchup in terms of coverage. And some flexibility, because he has played and done some things inside. So I like where he fits that way. And so I think it's good for us. We like to have guys that can do multiple things in the secondary, and he fits that.
Does that allow you as well to, obviously people just associate Joey with going with the best wide receiver, but if you have a 1 and a 1A receiver, can you allow yourself to go build off more body type of what the opposition has now, or a skill set of what the opposition has now?
Yes, absolutely.
His relationship and Dante's relationship with Joey up to this point, Joey was saying, this is going.
Yeah, I think it's always good. I think when you have a good pro, which I think Dante is, guys that, all the guys, they want to talk to you about your experiences and the things that you've done, and maybe how you've done things differently, because they've come from a different system, a different way of doing things. And I think that's just, I think it's really good that Dante's helpful that way. And I think it's really good that Joey wants to learn that, because I think that's really important for a young guy. You can get good information from a lot of different areas. And I think trying to find it out is the key. If you're searching to get it, I think that's good for you as a player.
What kind of player? You got the trade corner, you got the free agent linebacker, you got a draft linebacker. How much better people do you feel this year?
Well, I think right now, this time, obviously, we all feel great. But the true test will come once we put the pads on, and we know some of those guys have resumes in this league with pads on. But it's really more of the unknown with the young guys, seeing them with pads on, how they adjust and adapt to the NFL life. But so far in shorts, running around in the underwear stuff, I like how we're doing.
Who's your pickle this year?
You're asking some stuff already. Right now, that's going to be a thing we're not quite sure. We're going to work around that. We're going to audition. That's been some area that we've had some issues in trying to fill. So we're looking for it. I think we've got some good young candidates in there. I think we got a veteran candidate in Josiah. We got a young candidate in Beanie. We have some other guys that we know can play in there. So we're going to let that thing shake out at camp. But I think it's going to be a heck of a competition. I think whoever wins is going to help us be a better football team.
Isn't Cam Sutton the final piece there?
Pardon me?
Isn't Cam Sutton the final piece?
He could be. Yeah, absolutely. We know Cam is a football player. He's really versatile. He can do a lot of things for us. And, so I think obviously he would be as part of that mix as well.
What does Minicamp do for that room and for the whole defense?
Well, I think obviously we've got a relationship with Cam. And so, coaching Cam for, I had him for 4 years. It just that he can do a lot of different things. He's a really good pro. He helps in the room. He helps on the field because he can do multiple things. And so I think having him back is going to be really good for our room and for our team.
So we talked to Corey Trice caught up yet. Obviously he wasn't around much on the fields last year. Will he be in the mix? Or do you like where he is right now?
Yeah, I think right now Corey's just working his way back into getting somewhere close to full strength. But he is he had a promising start last year until the injury, and I think he's kind of starting to pick it back up in terms of that, getting closer to where he was. Really like how he's doing. We've been real, careful with him because we want to make sure that we get him to camp and give him the best opportunity to succeed, because we did think that last year he was trending in the right direction.
How unique are the skill sets that Queen brings, and what would he allow you guys to do?
Well, the thing I think with PQ is, obviously we signed him because he had a great year, but it wasn't just a one-off. He's played well ever since he was at Baltimore. and we think he's a 3-down linebacker for us. So he'll go in with the green dot. Before you ask Mike, he'll go in with the green dot, and he'll be the guy that's going to be out there on every snap. But I think he does a unique thing because he can cover, he can blitz, he can do a lot of things, and he's a really sharp football player. So I'm really happy we have him with us, and it gives us an opportunity, to build around him in that room.
How does that make the rest of your defense better?
Pardon me?
Having him there, how does that make the rest of your defense?
Well, I think when you have a guy in there who's basically quarterbacking up front, I think that helps everybody. It brings a calmness to everybody. When that guy's the green dot and he's making all the calls and he's there every time, I think that settles things down. Sometimes it can get a little erratic. Hey, who's calling it? Who's got it? There's been times we've had to send it in from the sideline. There's been times we had different guys doing it. So I think you have that one steady person. I think that's really calming for the defense.
One of the critiques of Queen's game is that the best was brought out of him when he was playing alongside Roquan Smith. What has he kind of shown you early? Obviously, still football in shorts, that shows you that he can do that as an individual or work with the guys here to kind of play at the same level that he was achieving in Baltimore alongside Roquan.
Well, I think, I'm not going to, obviously it's always great to play next to a great player, but I think he was trending into that on his own. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was going into his 3rd, 4th year, and each year he got better. So I wouldn't, I think that's more to his own growth and development than to anybody else's. And then we still expect that to continue to go.
Joe, you got a lot of good contributions last year from the rookie class. I was curious with Keeanu Benton, what did you especially like about what he did and where will he need to continue to evolve and grow?
Well, Keeanu is big and athletic and strong, and he's, the sky's the limit for that guy. I think the world of him right now. And I think he's got a lot of room for growth. The good thing is he's in a really good room. He's going to get a lot of pointers from a guy who's really good, and Cam and those guys that are in that room. And so I just really expect him to really take a jump this year and really be a dominant player inside.
So we talked to Minkah Fitzpatrick last week. He talked about getting back to Minkah ball, and you guys used him in a wider variety of ways last year compared to previous years. What do you do as a defensive coordinator, maybe help him get back to Minkah ball, and how did the newest additions help with that as well?
Well, to get him back to Minkah ball, as he would say, Minkah is at his best when he is playing back a little bit deeper, seeing things and able to react and see the game because he sees it really fast. And so my job is to try to keep him back there as much as possible and keep him out of situations where he's blitzing and doing that stuff. Not that he can't, but he's better doing the other things. And that's where the other additions come in. You got guys that are able to handle some of those duties that, he kind of picked up last year. So we're going to have other guys do those duties and let Minkah get back to being get back to where he's really, and not good, exceptional.
Well, how does his savviness help with?
For me,
potentially playing more nickel, will that help in that regard?
No, it doesn't matter. Okie or nickel, it doesn't matter. My job is to get him in a place where he can perform. Because when he performs at his highest level, it helps us. It makes us better.
Do Landon and Peyton Wilson help you play more nickel potentially?
They could. We could play more nickel. But I mean, we're gonna, with Queen and you got E and you got Peyton and we'll hopefully get Cole back at some point. I think we got a good core in there that we'll be able to play nickel whenever we need to. But I think more so, it really showed itself when Minkah had to play down. Really showed itself more in the Okie stuff in our base package. And so we want to keep him back where he can really perform. And so no matter who's in there, Minkah's going to get back to being Minkah.
How do you think savviness help with that as far as understanding the complete structure of the defense and him being back to kind of see that and work around it?
Yeah, I mean, he's just we all know what kind of football player he is. And like I said, the biggest thing is as coaches, our job is to try to get all of our guys in the best positions possible so they can play as well as they can and play up to their abilities. And so last year, I probably failed in that regard because we tried to have him do too much stuff. And I think I'm going to get back to, really what makes him special.
TJ said that as he reaches 30, he might have to pull back a little bit in preparation. What role do you play in that come maybe August in training camp where you better make sure he's healthy?
Yeah, I think that's
saving from himself.
Yeah, I think you have to do that with a lot of guys. And I think sometimes, and I know when I first got in the league, it was always, hey, you had a vet day for guys over 30. And so every couple of 3 days, those guys had a day off to kind of rest and recharge. And even though they may have wanted to practice, that was a way to get them resting and try to save them from themselves, so to speak. But we'll make sure we take care of TJ because we know how valuable he is. It's very similar when I first got here. Cam was under 30, but it was the same thing. Once he got a little bit older, we kind of pulled him back just so because he would take every rep and he loves it. But sometimes you just kind of try to help them keep them govern themselves so that we have them when we get into November and December and we're playing some really meaningful games.
Has Elandon Roberts kind of changed the culture of the linebacker group, and you guys just kind of naturally look to him in that unit?
Yeah, the guys do. He's a heck of a leader. He's a football player. I think what really endears him to our team and our defense in particular is he is a contact player and he is always searching it out. He is never shy from it. And I think that fits, what Steeler defense is and why guys kind of gravitate to him.
Terrell, Cam is over 30 now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously dealt with injuries last year. What kind of impact can he still make on your defense?
I think, it's hard to tell right now, but I'm anticipating him getting back to being the Cam Hayward that we know. He's big, he's strong, he's moving well. You can see it now. He's moving so much better than he was last year. And so I'm assuming that we're going to get the Cam that we're used to seeing.
With Minka and wanting to play more Minka ball, how does he kind of express those frustrations to you maybe late last season or in the off season that it's kind of had you adjust what he's going to do going forward to make the additions that you guys have?
Well, I wouldn't call them frustrations. I just think it was, you go back and look at the tape and they're going, well, they're throwing balls where Minka normally is. When Minka's back there, those balls don't get thrown. Then it's my job to get Minka back there. And that's how I look at it.
Is Peyton Wilson a natural dime? And if so, what kind of shot does he have at taking that position?
Well, I think he does. Dime linebacker. Yeah, absolutely. Because he can really run. I know if you guys watch practice, that guy can move. I think he's really sharp. He's into football. He asks great football questions. So I think that he's going to have a legitimate shot to be a dime linebacker right off the bat, because that is one area that he can do. He can cover. He can run. He's smart. The biggest thing is, like I said, once we get the pads on, and I don't anticipate it changing, but once we get the pads on, then we can really make a final determination of where we go with him.
Joey Porter Jr. talked about wanting to follow number one receivers. I know you expressed that last year, but is that something that you guys are planning to do more this year because of his experience?
No, I think we always play it by ear. And what's the good matchup for us? What's the best matchup? What helps us, put the best product out there on the field to give us an opportunity to win? That's what we look at. We don't look at personal grudges. Well, I want to guard him. Well, if that's not best for us, then that's not what we're going to do. And so we're going to do what's best for the Steelers and what gives us the best opportunity to win.
You brought in a couple of rookies.
Sean Elliott,
Now go.
Sean Elliott, what does he bring to your second?
I think when you see, one thing I like is he knows what AFC North football is about. Starting in Baltimore, so he figured he knows that. What he brings is that he's a real good pro. He's tough. He's a striker. He brings some toughness in that secondary where he's going to get down in there and he can punish some ball carriers. And so I think that gives us a level of physicality that we really want and like. And he does match up and he can do some things on the slot as well. And so he brings us some flexibility in there, and that's what we like from him.
You brought in a couple rookie outside corners in Ryan Watson, Beanie Bishop, but asking them to kind of learn some new roles now at this level. How are they taking Beanie to the slot and Ryan to safety so far?
Beanie in the slot's been good. He is, learning just like most young guys. And so there's a curve in there. He's going to be some things he's good at and some things he's not so good at. But his mentality is good. His work ethic is good. He's a sharp kid. And so he's taken to that. Be interested and really excited to see what happens when we get to Latrobe, where we can really kind of, hey, is he going to be able to cover these bigger receivers? Can he get down the big backs, all the different things like that. And Ryan, what I really like about Ryan is the fact that we got a guy that's got a corner background, and now he can be a guy as a safety that can come down and maybe play on a pass receiving tight end. He can play on the slot. He can do a lot of different things. And he is long and tall, just like, he's like Joey. He's like those guys, Trice, but he can play inside. And I know he's physical as a corner. He was physical at Texas. So, those guys are adapting well. They're doing well. But like everything, I don't get too excited about what we see out here. I just kind of, hey, I lay the groundwork and then hope that thing carries on once we put on pads. Because, sometimes you put on pads and guys disappear. You don't know what happened to them.
How big of a camp will this be for
Last two.
Leal and Loudermilk is their kind of third, fourth year?
Yeah, they're going to be really big. I mean, you can't understate it. I think Milk made a nice jump last year in terms of being really steady. We really could count on him. Where Marv was a little bit more up and down, but Marv looked outstanding. They both look really good in this offseason stuff. Marv looks like he's in great shape, really runs to the ball, really doing some things. And so, again, it'll be a big year for him, and I'm expecting them to come through. They're both good guys, so I want the best for them because if they're good, then that's really helping us.
Last one. I know that it's only shorts and helmets, but can you see the signs of Nick Herbig taking that year 2 jump?
Yes. And it's not so much in the rush and how he's rushing, but I think it's his approach to the game and what he knows. It's always a little different. You get used to NFL football the first year. The second year, you get a jump because now you kind of understand the game. And that's what I see with him. He understands what's going on around him. It's not just, hey, what's my position? He can understand, and he has a good feel for the game. And so I'm excited about Nick. And I think, when you look at what he did last year and the limited amount of reps he played, his impact was pretty good. And so if he's playing more this year, it wouldn't surprise me, and I wouldn't be like, we got to get the other guys back in. I would be trustful of what he's going to do when he's in the game.
How much has he grown in that aspect over the last few years from rookie season?
That man, he's grown so much. That's the thing about him. He always is trying to find a way to get better. Every offseason for him, it's something different. And this offseason, it was like ankle flexion, just different things like that. He's always improving on something. That's really what makes him so great.
He looks, I don't want to say thinner, but he looks like maybe he didn't lift as much this year. Or,
Yeah. He's got a good training regimen with the guys back in Wisconsin, Brad Arnett. They do a great job with him out there. There's no questions. They have a nice plan set up for him every year that he goes out there, that they're fine-tuning it and getting better at what he's doing every summer. And it's just, you just see it in his body. He's playing fresher. He looks better. I like it.
What kind of challenge is it for you to keep finding things to pressure two guys that are best edge rushing duo in the NFL?
Oh, that's literally my job. You know what I mean? No one cares. It's just I got to find a way to get him free. Nobody gives the damn how it happens, but find a way to get this guy home. Find a way to, what are we seeing on tape? What are other people doing around the league? We do it all. We look at any and everything to literally exhaust every avenue we can to try to get that dude home.
Sounds like a lot of extra paperwork.
Yes, sir. That's my job, though. There ain't nobody patting me on the back for that. You know what I mean? That's what I got to do. This is what I'm here to do, and I love doing it. It's my favorite.
How is Nick taking his second year? Like, how have you seen him grow? Just the different kind of questions he asks.
You just see it in his maturity, man. He's just so much more mature. He just knows what's coming. You know what I mean? He knows what to expect almost at this point. The plays don't change. He just gets more fine-tuned with what he does, and you can see it out on the field.
Every Super Bowl era here, the common thread seemed to be great linebackers. Good depth. Are you there?
We'll see. You know what I mean? With basketball, we're doing football and grass with no consequences right now. So obviously it looks great, you know what I mean? But we'll judge that by wins and losses. I'm praying, you know what I mean? What we've been looking at these last years, it looks like that, but you never know. You just got to see if these guys are going to take that next extra step.
So on paper,
we look great, but I know you're the legend. You know they don't do nothing on paper no more. You know what I mean? So, we got to go out there and prove it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How motivated do you think TJ is by the no playoff wins in his career? He's mentioned it bothers him. Can you notice that?
Nah, it's not something that he's out there saying, oh, man, everybody wants it. You know what I mean? It's down from everybody. Everybody wants to win in the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's not something we're trying not to do. You know what I mean? It's something that we're always constantly thinking about every day. It's something we got to do. We know we need postseason success, and that's what we're going to keep working towards.
He said, who knows? He might be done in 2 years. He might be done in 10 years. Something tells me that you see him and he doesn't look like a guy that's going to hang it up for 2 years.
Me neither. I agree. That guy there, man, I don't ever see him stopping. Football lovers like him, I just don't ever see it. I don't know when it's going to stop. It's his love for football that have to die, and y'all know him like I do. That ain't dying. So I'm going to keep pushing.
How aware you are of the argument of Myles Garrett versus TJ Watt, but a lot of Steelers fans will point to the sacks. The numbers are always higher, but some people say PFF, and other people say, oh, it's the pass rush percentage, different numbers here. As a person who you obviously coach TJ, so there's bias, but What do you see as in that argument that like sort of stands out to you about why TJ is better or isn't good?
Well, I don't work for the Browns, so I wouldn't really know their aspect of it. I just tell you, I take my guy. That's just what I'm going to say. You know what I mean? The work he puts in and the things he does for me give me confidence. And I don't really get into that argument, into that battle. You know what I mean? Because I got the guy, and I think my guy's the best in the world. So that's where I stand on that argument. Sir.
You have a Pro Football Focus.
That's right. They don't work here, though. You know what I mean? I ain't got to answer the Pro Football Focus. So I'm with you.
Is this your first time working with a 27-year-old German rookie outside linebacker?
Yes.
Defensive end.
Yes, and it's fun because Julius is really, you should see him. He's up in my office early mornings trying to get everything he can out of this experience. It is not, he takes it so serious, and it's so fun to coach a guy like that. Because if you're watching him out here, he's getting better. He's putting the things we're asking him to do in individual. He's putting it on tape every day, and that's all we can ask for.
You look at it as a ball of clay when you have a guy that's that size and hasn't been doing it for that long. And now you also have that bonus practice. I know that's not your department necessarily, but the bonus practice.
Hey, when I'm shaking your hand and I'm looking up at you, I'm happy. You know what I mean? As long as I ain't looking down at you, I'm looking up at that big son of a gun, and he's going to be somebody that's really going to be able to put his talents on display, I think.
Were you worried he would understand English well enough?
I didn't know what, but then I found out he was at Michigan for 5 years. I'm like, oh, you know some ball. You done played in some good systems. You'll be all right. You know what I mean? So he's good. He understands. I think I said expand to him the first day, and he was like, what does that mean? I was like, okay, all right, I'm got to explain a little more. It's good. I don't have a problem with that. But he's a great dude. He plays hard. He works hard, and he wants to get better.
Is anyone standing out to you at the position?
It's a solid group. It's a solid group. Cam has only been here a couple of days. You think about it. So think about all of the reps the other guys were able to receive before Cam got here. So Beanie got a lot of reps. Joe Scott got a lot of reps. TG. Thomas Brown got a lot of reps, so I think it's a good group of guys for the slot position.
Is he the last piece that you've manifested for the secondary? Is it ready?
I don't know that I've manifested that for the secondary, but what I would tell you is he's played a lot of ball in this system. And when Cam is on the field, you feel his level of communication and understanding and spatial awareness and concepts. You can feel that when he's on the field.
Earlier today, TA was talking about how his experience as a secondaries coach has influenced how he not only calls the defense, but also shapes the defense. How have you experienced that influence over the last couple of years, and how has that evolved over time?
Say that one more time.
Having TA's experience as a DB's coach, he's done this for quite a long time. How has that kind of permeated into what you do with your defensive backs, and how does that maybe enhance things?
I think the unique situation is we have 4 secondary coaches on the defense, starting with Mike T, his experiences, moving to TA and his experiences, moving to my experiences, then Anthony Midget. And so there's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of opportunity for conversation on, hey, what's the best way to do things? That's the great situation we're in here from a schematic standpoint, from a secondary play standpoint.
This is why I stopped shopping on Amazon.
No ads, buddy. No ads. We're gonna keep it going though. It's a lot of videos, man. I don't think I'm gonna miss this much time next time because these are a lot of videos. And they in depth. Like it's like a couple of these Jones, it's like 20-something minutes, man. But I'm learning a lot, man. I hope you are too.
Where are you and what's your reaction?
Shoot, where was I? Just really the reaction is just the excitement to be able to coach a player to his caliber, and then also understanding that there comes a huge responsibility that when a guy has played that well, as long as he's played that well, that you have a responsibility to help him continue to grow his game. That's probably the coolest part of it.
How about the draft pick Wilson? What were your impressions?
So I know I'm getting older, y'all. 2 coaches, Nick Eason and Aaron Curry. Remember both of these guys. I remember Nick Eason being the backup. I remember Aaron Curry getting drafted. He's a coach, man. And they're coaching on the Steelers. Fire. But Aaron Curry is a fire coach. He's a fire coach, man.
He's on pre-draft, and he seemed like you thought you would out here.
Absolutely. Pre-draft, my note on him was that he was a football junkie, and he really is. He meets, he wants to be right. He takes constructive criticism properly. He wants all the answers. He's going to study tape on his own. He's going to come in with questions. He'll spend all day in the building if you let him. He's a football junkie, high football character guy that loves his sport. So he's fun to coach.
If you were going to write up a job description for Steelers inside linebacker, what would it be?
If I had to write up a job description for Steelers inside linebackers, I'd say you got to be enthusiastic, tough, violent, and play smart.
With a guy like Peyton, have you seen anything with his kind of speed, and what can you do with that?
Have I seen his speed before? Yeah, in my background, I spent a lot of time with Bobby Wagner. Bobby played fast like that. So seeing that speed is really exciting because you know there's going to be some plays that only his speed can make. And so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to those opportunities for him.
Does he look like a guy that if the team chooses to play nickel, that he could be next to Queen in the nickel?
Yeah, I think he's just doing a good job of really finding his spot. I think he could do anything we ask him to do. He does a really good job of studying, and I know that when we call on him, he'll be ready.
Man, it comes to a screeching halt, man. It's been a good offseason. Got a lot of good work done, laid some foundational things. Excited about the group. But I'm sure everybody is this time of year. It's good to kind of learn without consequence and teach and get to know one another and standards of expectation. And those are some of the things that we've been focused on. Been some good collective work. It's good football conditioning. It's difficult to get in football shape without playing football. And so we've had a good environment for that. That from that standpoint has been really good. And now is the challenge of building off that level of conditioning and preparation for camp as individuals and as a collective. And so as we leave and go our separate ways, that's kind of the messaging. They have the right to expect the group to show up ready to work, but it's also responsibilities that come with that right. They have the responsibility as individuals to show up ready for the group. And so that's the message that we left them with. Gonna miss this work, but still excited about Latrobe and what's next for us. I'll pause and open it up for questions.
Mike, do you anticipate anybody not being ready for Latrobe to help us?
I don't.
You guys have some earlier practices this year in training camp. What went into that decision?
Just want to give them more time to interact with the fans post-practice while at the same time taking care of their bodies and rehydrating and still having an appetite for dinner. Under the later schedule, those things that I described get a little cramped. And we just want to create an environment where we keep the group upright and working.
Are you sacrificing that, playing in the hottest part of the day with the sun high up? You still got some of it.
Let's not overanalyze it.
Mike, how do you measure Russell's progress, not just from this week, but also going back to OTAs?
I don't know that I've been looking to be quite honest with you, man. It's about teaching and learning, him getting to know us getting to know him, teammates getting to know one another. I haven't really been looking at it from an evaluation perspective, just from a instructional perspective.
Peyton Wilson asked him about the biggest difference he's noticed coming from college to pros so far and how the coaches coach him. The biggest thing is up here, they don't coach away from deficiency, they coach to strength. Is that a message that you've always hoped to instill in the rookies early? And do you think you have more of that this year with this team where you can do that?
Man, there's so much to teach those guys. That's just a component of it. He'll be continually amazed by the differences. This is just a step, man. The next step we take will be intensified, and so will the teaching and learning. But that's just a component of being a young guy. I love his mindset. He appears to be in the right line of work for sure.
What do you tell the rookies who have never gone through this to get into their first training camp?
I don't tell them a whole lot, to be quite honest with you. It doesn't matter what I tell them. They're still going to be shocked and surprised at times, and there's going to be a period of adjustment. It's just what comes with it.
With Landon Roberts, Mike, we've seen what he can do on the field. What does he brought to the linebackers off the field since he's been here?
He's a pro. He's smart. He's a good teammate. He loves football. He likes to talk it. He's a good communicator, and it's just good to have those skills, particularly at that position.
We have a versatile guy like Queen at the inside linebacker position. Does that allow the other guys in that part of the depth chart to show their strengths because you can use Queen in different ways?
You know, you get an opportunity to get a guy like Queen, man. It doesn't matter about the other components of the equation. He's just a good, well-rounded football player, man. And he showed that here in a football-like environment. Can't wait to get him to Latrobe.
Anyone? How do you spend the next 6 weeks?
Minding my business.
All right.
As y'all should too. As y'all should too, man. Yeah, man. Last video, y'all. We here. We got the last one, y'all. Last one. We're gonna finish this strong, y'all. Appreciate everybody that tuned in from the beginning to end. Salute to everybody that tuned in at some point. We're gonna drive this thing home, baby. Let's go.
Downtime
Starting up.
mini camp and training camp that you can take into this and say, did you think you're in really good shape, and then show up at camp and maybe I could have done this a little bit better? Was there anything that you gleaned out of that?
Yeah, it was mostly just getting to know my body a little better. That was my first NFL season, the most games I've ever played in a year. So just getting to know my body better and kind of preparing it for this year was probably my biggest takeaway. I feel like the game itself, physically and mentally, I know I need to get better, but that's something that goes without being said. But I was really focused on my body this offseason.
Do you feel like you've gotten better from year one to year two?
Oh yeah,
Mike always says that's a biggest jump.
Yeah, definitely. I took that jump this year. It's a lot different training than college training, so it was good that I had that time off to focus on my body and I can really get detailed.
You look stronger. You look bigger. I mean, did you put on weight, or is it just good, just moving stuff around?
Yeah, I lost about 10 pounds, but I figured out how to get some more body muscle rather than putting that on in fat.
What do you think the ceiling is for you this year?
The what?
The ceiling. Where can you go as an individual player this year?
I can't see it, man. It's up there somewhere. I ain't really looking for that. I'm just keeping my head down and working.
So what do you expect going into Latrobe?
A grind. I feel like every year it's gonna be a grind. That's Latrobe. Once you put on them pads, that's gonna really show who love football. So I'm ready for it.
All right.
You tell the young guys, the rookies, like you might think you're ready for Latrobe, but you really you don't know until you get there.
I ain't gonna put that in their head. I feel like everybody got their own idea of what camp is supposed to look like and what it actually does. I just tell them not to worry. Me personally, I was one of those guys who made it harder than what it was. Not saying it's not hard at all, but like when you're playing that mental game with yourself, it wears and tears on you even more. So I just say go in with an open mind, but be ready to work.
Earlier this week, Mike Tomlin mentioned you and Joey specifically as guys he's leaning on to take a really big second-year leap. What's your mentality with those expectations on you? How do you feel you're going to make that bridge in the second season?
The expectations are there. It's been talked about, but it's not overstressed. I'm aware of what I need to do to take that next step, and I just got to communicate that with the coaches, and we work together in order for them to help me take that next step as well.
Do you feel like this defense is gelling after 4 weeks of OTs and minicamp?
Yeah, I definitely like we're doing good. We're getting more comfortable with each other. It's a couple new faces, so we're getting more comfortable with each other and just getting the playbook down again.
In your position room, is Montrevious kind of become a veteran type guy you look up to and help out?
Yeah, but he's a quiet guy, but like when we on that field, especially even though he's not, doing everything right now, but he's a guy who really kind of helps us out on the sideline. Like if it's those little details with the younger guys, he'll chime in for sure.
I feel like we're going to be talking to you about the kick return until the end of time, essentially. But what excites you about these new roles and the opportunities for you?
Honestly, I got mixed feelings about it. Yesterday I probably told somebody I feel good about it. Now today I kind of hate it. So it's just each and every day, man, it's different. And going out there, trying to practice it and all the different kicks we're gonna get and stuff. It's kind of tough, but it's honestly it's just gonna make me better as a kick returner and make the 10 guys up that's blocking for me, make us all better.
Do you see opportunities to have some explosion on the kickoff now and different than maybe in years past?
I mean, hell yeah. I mean, when you get past that first wave, it's over with, and being a kicker, and I like my chances with me 100% out of 100 times, so. I mean, they better do a good job, and filling that ball and not getting it right to us. Because we got a great plan that we got, and I'm excited for the opportunity, to try to show the world, this new rule don't affect, me or my teammates in any way.
Some of the guys were saying that players who played with Arthur Smith prior to have kind of come in here, served as sort of a mentor role or just kind of helping explain things a little bit more. Have you played in that role, and what have you noticed about these guys coming in and doing that?
Honestly, I just feel like Arthur, he went and got all the old guys, so we all the older guys that been with Arthur, me, Prue, Scotty, man. I mean, we know his system, man. We know Arthur, man. He's a great guy, man, and I'm glad he's here, and I'm glad they gave me the chance, to work with him another year, going on 4 years with Arthur, and I just appreciate everything he did for me over the last 2 years, and I'm just excited to see what happens.
That's that, y'all. That is that. Thank y'all so much for rocking with your guy, man. We caught up on everything that happened with Minicamp. You know what I'm saying? It's your guy, Kev Easy. Follow me everywhere at Kev Easy, Keveze, for those who don't spell well. I don't judge. Follow Steelersfor7 podcast everywhere. Right now, it's streaming on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, hit it. Also, hit the notification button so you know when these is coming on, so you can already be there. You feel me? My people on Twitch, this is probably the second stream I did on Twitch. Shout out to y'all, man. I'm gonna be streaming over there a whole lot. Gonna do a lot of things via gaming as well, and incorporated with Steelersfor7 podcast. So you'll be on the lookout for that when the season. We're close to the season. And shout out to all the people on X, aka Twitter, aka we don't know what to call that shit no more. Salute to everybody, man, that was in this thing, man. But we're gonna get up out of here. Steelersfor7 Live. It's been a good time, and I must go.
It's a new season, baby. Steelersfor7 podcast, you already know what it is, man. Gang, you already know what it is, man. It's still a gang, it's the gang. You already know what it is, man. Fall for that motherfucking Super Bowl, yeah.
Steelersfor7, yeah, we about to go get it. Still a gang, we win it. Go down in the trenches, yeah. We ain't trying to kick it like Drake. We do it for the Sixers, then we can kick it. Yeah, this our division. The other three go missing. Come on, let's get it. Yeah, this our division. Super Bowl, let's win it. Steelersfor7, yeah, we about to go get it. Still a gang, we win it. Go down in the trenches, yeah. We ain't trying to kick it like Drake. We do it for the Sixers, then we can kick it. Yeah, this our division. The other three go missing. Come on, let's get it. Yeah, this our division. Super Bowl, let's win it.